Hello. How y'all doing? I mean, I should just go to the doctor. Uh, not tomorrow. I forgot about the anniversary note, though, now that you bring it up. Um, I think it should be December the 4th, would be the 9-year anniversary. Foxborn, thank you for that gift sub earlier. Hmm. Well, let me check. Days since December 4th, 2013? 3,283 days. Maybe I was counting. I'm always off by one. I have an off by one error every time I do this. Oh. But yeah, I think I'm right. And this would account for calendar fuckery. Because when you're talking about a span of 9 years, I think not every year is the same amount of days. And, there's leap years and shit. Yep, leap seconds, all that shit. But no, I've taken a little break from the music device because I just have lots of different little projects and things that I'm fucking with. Excuse me. It's coming along. I'm wrestling with something that's like really difficult. No luck.
Yeah, and all the things are like, how to fix this means that I have to rip up
Everything.
everything. Well, everything that I did to make it work. So it's draining really slowly right now.
It's better than nothing.
So I'm just gonna see how far that gets me. We can empty it tomorrow with buckets and then try and figure it out from there.
Yeah.
But this sucks and I hate it.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I was like so happy to have it for you.
I'm sorry that you put in all that effort for this to happen.
Just one thing after another.
Yeah. um it's in a missing knowledge way and a little bit in an effort way. I don't want to talk about it in detail quite yet. But I am essentially trying to do something. I'm trying to do something I've never done before, and it's almost working, but not. And it's far, far, far more complicated than I predicted it would be. That's the main problem. I thought this will be a fun little thing. And then it turned out this is not a fun little thing. And I'll explain all this in more detail later, but fuck. It's it's so much harder than I thought it would be. So much harder. But I embarked on it anyway because I felt like I shouldn't let it stop me just because it's more complicated than I expected. But even stomping forward into it, it's rough. I'm kind of trying to use somebody else's stuff and force it into my stuff. And it's like semi working. There just seems to be like one last problem, but debugging it is really hard. But yeah, I have felt like shit today. Stomach stuff this time. Don't know why or what it is. Salmonella. Yeah, pretty much. I have been wondering. Well, so what I've been experiencing is pretty standard, like when your stomach is fucked up type stuff, where I just have like those clockwork stomach pains. But I absolutely refuse to puke. So I've been using up my ondansetron, and I do wonder if I have some sort of like, maybe I have a really weird food poisoning or gastroenteritis experience compared to normal now. What name? Oh, the name of that medicine. Yeah, ondansetron. Sounds like the name of a dance club. Dancotron. But I wonder if I get, stomach bugs, but then I don't have the number one symptoms because I suppress them so viciously. Yeah, we moved 2 years ago now, just about, because we moved in December, if I recall. But we were getting our ass kicked by rising rents in Phoenix. So we decided to take advantage of moving into a place where we didn't have to pay any rent. I know it seems wild that it's been 2 years already. Well, it didn't really pay off because then we got absolutely fucked by inflation and so on. It basically ended up being a total wash because of various reasons. When we initially moved here, we took a hit in that Nakomi had to give up her job. And then, of course, there were the costs of moving and necessary expenses to make this place livable, which included new heaters and just a number of significant expenses. And my job at the time didn't pay me very well. And I kept that job for another 6 months or so after we moved before I got my current job. My current job pays way better, but we've still had significant expenses. We've had significant vet expenses because of choose stuff, and we've had some medical stuff. And then that kind of seamlessly transitioned into the inflation stuff hitting. And I mean, we are doing better than we were. I'm able to set aside a little bit of savings, but it's very slow. Well, I've been saying inflation as a shorthand, but what I should really say is price gouging. The price gouging hit, where all the grocery companies purposely inflated all their prices and used inflation as an excuse to do so. But when you look at the numbers and the profits, it's quite fucking obvious that it's not just inflation. Um, you follow every path that you can follow back from problems that we have as citizens in this country. All paths lead back to a corporation. All of them. All of them. Every single fucking one. I just keep waiting for the day that we're gonna like all band together and burn down every corporation, and it just doesn't ever fucking happen. But they're gonna kill us. I seriously have zero hope for the future. I've given up on the idea of saving up and getting a house. In fact, I feel like the savings that I do have, that I've started to build, is just an exercise in futility. Because if we keep going the way we're going, it's all just going to get zeroed out or something. We'll hit some crazy shit like hyperinflation, and it'll fucking blow away all of our bank accounts. Like, we won't be able to get money out, and then the banks will collapse or whatever the fuck. And we just kind of keep marching towards this, even though it's really fucking obvious. It's so fucking obvious and in our face. Constantly, it's in our face. I don't understand. I don't understand why we keep doing this. But yeah, I don't know. That's where my head's at lately. I just kind of don't really have any hope. I'm just like throwing myself into work and creative side projects lately because I I just have this overwhelming sense of impending doom. Like, we just have extremely limited time to do anything else. So I might as well do all those things that I wanted to do that I put off. Sorry, I kind of went down the spiral. Yeah, to find an affordable house now, I mean, a lot of people will say there's still affordable houses out there. But the thing is it's there's a lot of shit that you're leaving out when you say that. You can absolutely say that, and it is 100% true if you leave a fucking shitload of stuff on the table, such as access to amenities, that vastly narrows depending on what your needs are, what you want. etc., that vastly narrows the options, right? And I would say almost nobody, when they are looking for a house, has no requirements. That's not a thing. There's, you know, maybe you're lucky and you really don't give a shit and it's all about just the parameters of the house, and you could get something that's off in the boondocks away from grocery stores and good utility access, internet access, etc. Maybe you can do that, but I would say that's probably a rare case, and most people are going to have like wanting to be near or far from family, nearer or farther or whatever to a metro center, access to, drivable access to things like grocery stores or whatever, restaurants, things like that. Like there's all these considerations, and then there's the loan rates, which last I checked, that shit was fucking bonkers, out of control, insane. Um, and also last I checked, nobody believes that like that's the new normal. No one believes that's coming back down. Like that's it now. And then like a lot of the houses that remain in that affordable category are like gutted or need huge amounts of work or whatever, unless you get super fucking lucky. So that has to be tacked onto your loan. That has to be a consideration that you're gonna finish the rest of the fucking house after you buy it. And then if it's a fine house, like it meets all the other parameters, it's not gutted, it's a finished house, da da da. And hell, let's say somehow you luck into a better rate, like the best available rate right now. Then there's the final boss, which is you cannot beat the outside investors and corporations that are buying up all of those houses. Whatever offer you make, they're going to blow it up. And the only way you can beat that is to throw down so much more fucking money than the house is worth that it's all moot. So that no, there aren't affordable houses right now. If you actually consider what it's like buying a fucking house and all the parameters involved and all of the shit that's going on right now, no, it's not like you can just fucking go out and just find a house. It's a nightmare right now. It's a total fucking nightmare. And again, if you follow the path back, like why has this happened? Well, because there are no fucking regulations and corporations are just buying the fucking houses. They're buying the houses up. They're jacking the prices up. They want to turn us into rent serfs. They want to build a slave economy, and they're doing it right in our faces. They're doing it in our faces. It's really, really, really easy to see. There's just nothing to stop people from manipulating the housing market in a way that your average citizen can contend with. There's no protection for us from that. We can't fight back because we don't have, I mean, outside of legislation and regulation, we cannot fight back. We're not going to win with money. That's not going to happen. Your average citizens are not going to outbuy corporations and outside investors. So that's just, we have lost. We lost a long time ago. It's been over for like, it's really been over for like 40 years. Back in the 80s, when they rolled everything back and they just let corporations do whatever the fuck they want, and they've just been doing whatever the fuck they want. And I always go down this spiral when we talk about like it all came up because of the fact that we moved and the reasons why we moved. And it's very much tied up in, I mean, when we were in Phoenix, the reason that the rents were the rent is what drove us away, is that they were raising it every year and they had no intentions of stopping. They wouldn't give us a longer lease. We had no guarantee that at the end of every lease year that they weren't going to just kick us the fuck out, because that happened to us over and over again, as you guys might recall. We had absolutely no guarantees of housing. You know, we couldn't get a 5-year lease or something like that because they wanted to raise the rent continually, because they knew if they locked into a long-term lease, they'd miss out on the extraction, the mining of tenants, the mining of the market. They would miss out on being able to raise the rent to basically the fucking sky. So, you know, and these the whole setup is absolutely fucked if you're just a normal average human, you know, because the way it works, and particularly in Phoenix, the way it worked is that there's all these stupid little LLC companies that are formed, and there's all these people, investors, who buy up properties and they just sit on them and they kick it to some rental management company. So there's tons of rental management companies that have no, they're not involved with the property. They don't, other than like making sure the rent gets paid and making sure that the property doesn't get destroyed, they have no investment in the situation. They're just a management company. So they are this go-between between you and the landlord, and you just have no transparency, no idea whatsoever when the fuck they're going to flip the fucking house. And when they flip the house, they dump the tenants out, you know? So it feels insane to move into a place, set up all your shit, and then you don't know at the end of the year if you're going to be forced to fucking move again. It's fucking, who can live like that? That's not fucking livable. It's so fucking expensive to unpack all your shit, set everything up, and then have to repack all your shit, tear everything down, and spend thousands of dollars to move to another fucking place for another fucking year without any goddamn guarantee. And if you weren't ready, if you missed the window, the final window of when houses were affordable, you know, like shortly after the crash, you were fucked, and that's us. We're fucked. Yeah, I'd say your best bet is if you have property in your family, you know, if somebody owns something that's paid or close to being paid, I don't know, work something out. Don't let that shit go, because property ownership is coming to an end in the States. It's going to be shit that people already had, and then corporations are just going to own everything else. There's not going to be property ownership. It's just going to dwindle over time. Because eventually, bit by bit, all the properties are going to get sucked up by the corporations, and then that's just not going to be a thing anymore. Which, by the way, that is the literal death of the American dream. The whole American dream thing was you go get your fucking little house with a white picket fence, your little piece of land. You'd own property. That was the American dream. I mean, I never bought into that shit because I've been jaded basically my whole fucking life. But I'm just saying, it is 1,000% dead. Unless somebody, you know, stops this shit and turns it around. But I mean, it doesn't seem like that's going to happen, does it? Regardless of party, it doesn't appear that anybody's going to like re-regulate the corporations and rein in, you know, acknowledge that there's a fucking problem is the first step. We can't even get any politicians to fucking acknowledge the huge, glaring, massive fucking problems, other than a handful of them. But I mean, a handful of them doesn't fucking matter. This the whole rail thing has been insane, hasn't it? I don't think anybody comes out looking good on the rail thing. It's completely fucked. It seems so fucking easy and obvious. It was not a difficult ask. It was not like they were asking for their wages to be doubled. You know, it was so simple and they won't do it. I simply do not understand. I simply don't get it. Other than, I mean, clearly don't believe any politician that says that they are for labor. Don't believe any of them. This was such a this was an easy ask and they fucked it. I mean, the one part of it did pass, but I mean, like, I don't really feel inclined to give a lot of credit for that. Oh yeah, Punkster. I mean, that's the infuriating thing about all this is that there's constantly every day there's all this fighting and debating and blah blah blah. But over and over again, they've just told us the game. Elon has said exactly what he's done. You know, he just doesn't consider his actions corrupt. So he just tells you what he's done, what the real reasons were for things that he's done. Uh, the oil companies, when there was the pricing crisis there, they outright said that they had no intention of lowering the prices because they're making amazing profits. The supermarket companies, the grocery companies, have outright said that they've raised the prices and they won't be lowering them because they like the profits. They have just said this stuff. They literally say it, and I don't understand why we have to have these big stupid internet arguments every fucking day. Like it's like Groundhog Day every day. We always start from zero, and everybody argues about whether this little thing or that little thing, you know, the twiddling of the knobs a little bit this way or that way. It's like they're just yelling it at us. They're telling us like we are the kings, you are the serfs. We do what we want. And like, why are we talking about anything else? I don't understand. I simply don't get it. Why are we talking about anything else? This is why shows like fucking Last Week Tonight are frustrating to watch. It's painful to watch that shit. I mean, like, I think they do a good job because they do these deep dives and they do good research into, you know, problems X, Y, Z. But the thing is, it's all laid out for you, how it sucks shit. And then you have to just sort of walk away and live with that. I kind of would rather not have known. In some, you know, I actually do want to know, but like some part of me feels like it'd be better just not to know because now I have to live with knowing exactly what the problem is and knowing nothing will be done over and over and over and over again. Uh, it's despair. It feels like despair. Jiff, thank you for 91 months. I don't know. Kanye's been doing so much stuff back to back to back that I just don't. It's hard to keep track. but I'm sure it was just more anti-Semitism. He's really doubled down, tripled down, quadrupled down on the old anti-Semitism. I simply don't know don't know what to say about that one. I was never a fan, so it's like very to me he's just like music Musk. You know, like I never cared about the guy to start with. So as far as I'm concerned, he's just another annoying rich prick. I mean, before he even started doing any of the insane political stuff, he was the type of celebrity that I really don't like, where they he's it all went to his fucking head. He just considers himself a genius, and it's like you were very fucking successful in a genre, but you're not the greatest musician to ever grace the face of the earth. You were just fucking popular right now. Let's see how your stuff does, 100, 200, 300 years from now, and then we can talk about how genius you are, I really can't stand musicians that spend so much of their time talking about how great they are. When a lot of that shit is a fucking roll of the dice, because a lot of the stuff that people are putting out in terms of pop music is, I don't mean pop music, the genre, but like music that is popular, is really extremely iterative. It's not like mind-blowingly different. It's just like, and more so as time has gone on too, like difference in terms of popular music is just sort of dwindling and dwindling until it's just kind of headed towards like a noise. We're gonna find that we're gonna find the noise that just everybody likes, and it'll be the end of music. Hey, put on the noise. Let's party. Sorry, I took that to a weird place again. Yeah. Yeah, that new Muse album being apparently accidentally a MAGA album was very funny to me. And a little bit sad because I did like earlier Muse stuff, and I'd listened to the new stuff. I'm like, wait, what is he saying? What exactly? That's like when you try so hard, it accidentally wraps around to the other side. If you listen to the new album, basically the way that the songs are written, they could essentially be an anthem for whatever you think. Like there was one track where I was just listening along, and then I did a double take and I was like, wait, is this an anti-vax song? And I was looking at the lyrics and I'm like, I'm not sure, man. This could really go either fucking way. And then I looked at the comments on the video and it was like anti-vax headquarters, dude. It was like they all found this song. They and then I was like, did they really? And I went because I thought like they were really, in terms of politics and stuff, like Muse is very progressive and stuff in the past. It's like, did the pandemic break them? But then I found an article with an interview with Matt, and he was like, "Oh no, it's awful. None of this was intended. I fucked up." Basically, which is the funniest possible thing that they could have done. So, yeah, that was cool. Yeah. Yeah. I think that it basically is the consequence of trying to force it. Because what I liked about like Supermassive, Black Hole or whatever, I'm not like the hugest Muse fan, so if I fucking get the name of the album wrong, fuck it. But the past stuff had this like genuine feeling passion to it. Felt like it was saying stuff, you know. And I think there's like at some point you lose that fucking momentum, and then you try to recreate it, but it's not there, and you end up with oops, all anti-vax, you know, or whatever, just like by accident. Uh no, I feel like the older albums. I feel like Muse was pretty unique. I feel like it had a really different sound. I wouldn't really say it was all that similar to Radiohead, but that's my take, I guess. I felt like they had their own thing. Anyway, sorry for turning like everything into a rant. I haven't had a great day. I'm not like a doomer, you know? It's just that even even if you try to maintain, even you know, like I try to maintain an optimistic baseline, I guess. But even the most optimistic person is going to strain under this much weight, you know. Everybody has a breaking point. And when you feel like you don't have a future, that's when you really start to unravel, you know. Oddly enough, I think I've personally felt like I think that's the main thing, like the main reason that incels exist. It's just that they are warped by having a way more fucked up worldview and I guess a much sooner breaking point. But like those dudes that snap or whatever, the, they don't think they have a future, but the future that they envision is stupid and wouldn't exist anyway. So their breaking point is at zero. Like they go from 0 to 0 in nothing seconds because the future they envision is stupid bullshit, like basically women or slaves type, like sex slaves type situation, and they instantly find out that that's not going to be their future, so then they fucking break, you know. Uh, I can't even imagine having such an empty, like personal landscape, you know, and like just to have no horizons whatsoever, no interests, no creativity, no drive, no motivation, such that your breaking point is, oh, there won't be women sex slaves to men in the future. This is the end. Like, how is that a destination anybody arrives at all? I can't I can't understand that even a little bit. I don't think that describes you, Rudy. Don't sell yourself short. Yeah. It's certainly an astonishing lack of empathy. Damn. Fuck's sake. Oddly enough, I think a lot of people do have empathy for them. And that's not to mean um just empathy in terms of like a baseline understanding, but not forgiveness, you know. You can empathize with people, and that just means like being able to understand their perspective. That doesn't mean that you agree with the perspective. It just means slotting in the variables and trying to wrap your head around how they why they are the way they are. But I would certainly say that incels are from my perspective some of the most difficult to empathize with. I can empathize up to a point of like feeling like ostracized from society and that you don't fit in and all that kind of stuff. But I stop short of basically everything else. Yeah, that's the part that I can't envision how you can end up with such a warped point of view about sex. Well, I mean their specific point of view because the there's a lot of fucked up shit that everyone is exposed to throughout their entire lives, and not everyone ends up this way. Especially if you throw out something broad like religion. Certainly, there's a lot of fucked up sex stuff related to religion and practitioners of religion, but it's not all. It's not even a majority. It's a minority. You know, so it's not just exposure. Something else is wrong in the brain, or it's a combination of things that come together to cause this result. But it's not one thing, you know? I was raised in religion. Um, and I rejected it. I was ostracized by my peers, but I mean, it certainly changed me, but not in that way. So I don't know what combination of things let me go down the path I went down versus, you know, the other shit. It's it just has to be like just so much more combinations of stuff, I think. Family life, religion, social life, school. media, social media, and just all of it coming together in just the wrong way for a minority of people that leads to this horrible result. I don't think you can pin it on one thing. I mean, you probably are right, Beer, that I could see internet echo chambers being an outsized force. Because that is certainly a big factor for a lot of people of that you surround yourself with other people who are going to agree with whatever you think rather than correct you. And you're just going to keep getting that confirmation bias over and over again. Wet ass P word. Man, I have to revisit that. I revisit it from time to time. A good playlist is like that and Bustin', just back to back over and over again. If you're far too online like myself. Yeah, I don't know how somebody like Ben does that and manages to get themselves out of bed every day afterwards. I don't know how you can. I don't know how you can do that and survive. I don't understand. It's madness. Wow, no nut. Why do you have to bring me back there? I barely survived that. uh, do you use a different username in Justin's chat or something? What was the tweet that he did? He wrote. I saw his tweet and I was thinking about you. Didn't he write down like no nut 2020? 55 months? Or did he just write no nut 55 months? No nut definitely had a different username before. Oh, okay. He meant okay, I got it. I got it. We are on the same page now. Gotcha. That was funny. That fucking I don't know the origin of your name. So hopefully you're not a devout follower of the Religion of No Nut, but that shit's fucking hilarious too if you dig in. Good God. I love bringing it up randomly and just shocking people. That whole thing with like that storing up your sperm gives you power. Just that stuff makes for an amazing read. I don't know if the crystals are part of it, if they're part of the same thing, or if that's just a separate funny thing. But the thing I'm referring to is much more of like metastasized uh, male toxicity stuff. I'm not sure if I'm even going to be able to find it because it's like dark corners of the internet shit, and I'm not coming up with. I'm coming up with like medical articles here. Very funny though. Like these are serious articles. Let's see. What are some funny ones? Store your sperm now for long-term storage and future use. Sperm hoarders. Why animals store sperm. That's National Geographic. How to store sperm at home. uh, can I store sperm in the fridge? That's on timberlanemusic.org. The internet is rapidly becoming worthless because of all those fucking like bullshit blogs that they're just bot generated and they just steal content from other things, but they jumble it all up. So there's like finding information on the internet is not won't be long before you won't be able to find anything. How to store cum? Question mark. Science topics. And then amidst all of this, completely out of place, can you plant nuts from the store? Garden superpower. I'm not finding what I want though. New York Post. Why No Nut November needs to stop. Oh, fuck. This might refer to some of the claims. Increased testosterone, improved mental clarity. Levitation, psychic powers. I think those are joke ones. Oh fuck, they just have a straight up website. Yeah. Ugh. It's all presented as like a support group for porn addicted people. Any information you gather here is not medical advice and is provided solely for educational and informational purposes. Yeah, this is bullshit. Aha. Community forums. Oh no. Oh no. Retention. There it is. That's what they call it. They retain the sperm. Ah, Jesus. The benefits of SR are beyond testosterone. SR beyond materialism. SR is sperm retention, by the way. Oh, fucking hell. Oh boy, this is such a huge leap. So it's like this is a post that's just talking about like testosterone influences on the brain based on studies on rodents. And this guy's making the leap of this is the chain. So all these benefits on the brain, on rat brains, from testosterone, which you get by storing up cum, by not masturbating. That's the thing that people that fall into this stuff never do. They never unfold the whole thing and like step back and look at the big picture. They just everything leading up to the insane shit is all assumed. People use studies for confirmation bias, period. That's all people do. There's so many studies as well now on every fucking thing that you can basically find one that supports whatever you want. Especially if you don't care about timelines. If you're willing to reach back 40, 50, 60 years, you can find anything to support anything. It's sort of true, beer. That's great, Bubs. I don't know. I think studies about almost anything are valid. Stuff just because a study sounds frivolous. I mean, a lot of important discoveries in science come from unexpected places. So we should really keep looking at everything, even if it sounds frivolous. Yeah. Well, anyway, I think I've run out of stuff to talk about for tonight. Now that I've ended up on the fucking no nut forums. Oh my god. This really is like a comedy mine though. You are guaranteed to find insane shit. Guaranteed. Okay. Sorry, I just saw another forum post title and it says No Fap Aura Real? Oh fuck. I goddamn, I could fucking spend all day on this stupid fucking site as well. Powerful aura plus energy equal female attraction? Jesus Christ. Just the titles alone are almost enough in the comedy department. Oh, fucking hell. All right. I am leaving now. Thanks for hanging out with me. Sorry for the whatever this was. I hope my stomach doesn't do this for like a whole week or something, because then I'm going to be really fucking sad. Have a good one.